selalu, right? Yeah, for the previous 3 weeks, every Saturday I join a workshop that is organized by Tariusi, and then from 8 p.m. until 5 p.m. every weekend for three weeks in a row. Okay, so just assume that it is for our own knowledge. Okay, if you do this like macam terpaksa, then the knowledge is like also macam terpaksa also lah go in your brain. But if you think that you are now expanding yourself, you are adding new knowledge uh, to your what to yourself, then you will feels like the knowledge session is very beneficial lah for you. So it is depends on the person punya perspective, your own perspective, how you see a knowledge. Okay, so if you yeah, like I said just now lah. Okay, so we see first who is already here. Okay, so I already share my screen. I already record. Okay, so I hope all of you already had your breakfast so that you will be fresh in our class. Okay, so why? Because our lecture today is actually important lecture. Why? Because if you don't want to be a software engineer or programmer, you don't want to be someone in the development team, you can be the project manager, their project manager. Okay, and then the pay is higher than the software team. Okay, so this one chapter is very beneficial for you in the future if you later become the project manager. Okay, so listen carefully lah later. So maybe in your next semester, maybe you will have one course just for this chapter, software project management. Okay, but in this lecture, it only have one chapter where we will touch the the introduction part lah. But I will also teach some of the technique, not technique lah, technique lah today about Gantt chart, PERT chart. Okay, so that is very useful if you become project manager later, because that is the tools that will be used, usually will be used by any project manager. Okay, so we see first who still not joining. So if you think that become a programmer or become coder or software engineer is too hard for you, because you need to learn about programming, or maybe you are not very good in programming, but maybe this is your future career, bukan career in the future. Okay, because some of people they are not very good in programming, but they are very good in project managing, in managing project. So yeah, I remember last time also my general manager, usually he will be the project manager, and he honestly admitted lah that he is not good in programming. Even his programming in the university, he got C ka for programming. Okay, so but he is very good in project managing. in managing project, and his pay is memang higher lah than all of the software team, because he will do a lot of tasks lah. Okay, he will do a lot of tasks, the tasks that we will learn in this lecture. Okay, so I will see first. Oh, Ivan here, Farah here, Lim here, Kelvin here. Shak is not here. Russell here, Jeremiah here, Noel here, Wong here, Daniel here, Alvin here, Celine here, Jonathan here, Nathan also here. Okay, Shak and Zisheng Wong is not joining. Okay, someone already joined now. Okay, so still no. Okay, so without any further ado, so we will proceed our lecture lah. Because I'm afraid we will not have enough time to finish all of that in one lecture. So we already used 9 minutes. Okay, so like I said, this is the chapter 3, which is the project management. So it is important because it can become your career in the future. Okay, so the objective for this chapter is for you to be able to explain the principal tasks of software project management. Okay, so the principal task, the task that is must compulsory to a project manager should know. Okay, so after that, to evaluate the importance of project management. Okay, so you will know how important the project management in managing a software project. Okay, so after that, to discuss the key issue of team working. Okay, so we will learn about what is team composition, cohesiveness, and communication after this. Because as a team manager, you will need to identify these 3 components inside your team, so that you will know later why you need to know about these 3 issues. Okay, so okay, so we proceed. Okay. So, what are the main responsibility of IT project manager? Okay, so we only talking about IT project manager because every business company, either you are in another engineering project, engineering company, or you are running a restaurant. Every business will have project manager or manager lah. But we are only focusing for IT manager because we are learning software engineering. Okay, so the first, the main responsibility of IT manager is to do the planning and scheduling of the project development. Okay, so you are the first person who will work first. Instead of you already have your team, the software team, but they will not do anything first because the one that who responsible to do the planning before the project running is you, the project manager. Okay, so another key responsibility for IT manager is to supervise. After you plan and schedule, you need to supervise the work to ensure that it is carried out following the required standard. Okay, so in this case is following the software engineering standard lah. Okay, so after that you will need to monitor the progress of whatever that you already planned, schedule previously. Okay, so you monitor the progress to check that the development is on time and still within the budget. Okay, because when you are doing the planning, you already know what is the budget, what is the time the project should complete. So you monitor the project, the progress of your system, of your development of the system, either it is still within the time and then the budget that is expected or that you planned previously. Okay, so these are the management activity that will involve the project manager. Okay, so these are the management activity that will involve project manager. Okay, so we will, which is the proposal writing. Okay, so the proposal writing usually involve, I mean, memang will involve the project manager. Okay, so the software team maybe not, but sometimes if you are a small company, maybe your software team also included lah. But usually, the project manager will propose or write the proposal before, if there are any project that needs bidding. Okay, so it is already tendered to it is tendered by the client and it is open for bidding. Then you all will the project manager is the first person will write the proposal. Okay, so we will learn later what will the proposal should consist lah. Okay, so after that, project planning and scheduling, like what in the previous slide lah. And then after that, the project costing. You are the one who responsible to calculate the not to calculate to manage the costing. Okay, so I will tell later lah who will do the calculation. Okay, so project monitoring and review, personal selection and evaluation, and report writing and presentation. So we will learn all of this in our next slide. Okay, so proposal writing. What is um, what is the item that you should include in your proposal? Okay, so first the objective. The objective of why you write the proposal. Okay, so either it is to bid a project, and then it must consist, or your objective is usually you want to build what lah, what system, and then for who, I mean, for what company. And then after that, your proposal must also consisting how to carry out the project, meaning you will tell in your proposal your planning lah, your planning. You will finish that project in what time. Okay, maybe in 2 months, and then you will have five programmer to do all of the development. Okay, and then you will use what technology. Okay, so it is in this how to carry out the project development lah. After that, the cost, and then the schedule. Schedule is you know lah, the schedule, right? What tasks should be done first, and then after that followed with what tasks lah. Okay, so the project manager also should involve in the project planning. So that is when you are writing the proposal. So the you do the what the skeleton of the proposal first. After that, you do the project planning lah, because the deliverable of your project planning will become the input for your project proposal just now lah. Okay, so in the project planning, you will tell what activity to be carried out. Okay, so what activity will be carried out. Okay, so and then what are the milestones for your project? And then what is the deliverables? The deliverables is like, for example, the output or the output of every phases. Like I think I have said that previously, like all of your document lah. Okay, so for example, in the phase of project requirement gathering, so you will come out with requirement specification document. Okay, so after the design phase, you will need to come out with the deliverable of software design specification. So that is the example of your deliverables. And then for milestone, so milestone, it is actually um, 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 I provide you all with a video for this. Okay, so I will share the link so we watch it together. Okay, you watch it. I have already pasted the link in our chat.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Shit Project Managers Say. Today, we're going to be talking about milestones. Now, for the longest time, I had no idea what a piece of rock had to do with project planning. No worries, I've figured it out and I'm going to tell you all about it. If life was a project, your major milestones would be getting married, buying a house, having a kid. Get the picture? In project management, it's the same thing. A milestone is a landmark moment that's necessary for you to achieve in order to move on to the next step or phase. So for example, if shooting a movie is your project, then casting your actors would be a major milestone. So that's all there is to it. If you want a more detailed description of milestones and how to use them, check out our extended video. See you next time. Getting married, buying a house. In project management, it's the same thing. A milestone is a landmark moment that's necessary.
Sorry. Okay, so sorry. The reason I show you all about the milestone just now, I already finished that, right? Okay. So because even though there's apa tuh diagram or whatsoever in that video, but I just want you to all just refresh a little bit because the lady is very pretty. Okay, but the example that is given by the lady just now is not really related to the project management. So the example of the milestone, if you are doing in terms of software project development, is for example the beginning and end dates of the project phases, and then maybe the date of you getting approval from the stakeholder that allows you to move to the next phases, and also maybe there are some meeting that you need to do or even you need to join. Okay, so that can be a milestone in the project management, especially in software project manager lah, software development. Okay, understand what is milestone? Okay. So deliverables is, I hope you all can differentiate milestone and deliverables. Meaning deliverables is the significant milestone. Milestone is the like important that you must to consider or that you need to focus lah. But the deliverables is the things that you will need to produce. Okay, so that is the difference between milestone and deliverables. I hope you all can understand. If no, then you can watch that pretty lady just now lah again. Okay, so after that, after the project planning, you will come out with a project plan, okay, to guide the development towards the goals. Okay, so these are the example of your deliverables. Okay, like I said just now, preliminary investigations report requirement or software requirement specifications report SRS, or software design specification SDD, software design, okay, software design specification lah. Okay, and then our prototype or etc. So this will be your deliverable. Okay, so project scheduling. Wait, Okay, so a project manager also need to do project scheduling. Okay, so what will you do during the project scheduling is you will need to find out the total work that need to be carried out. After that, you will need, from all of the total work that need to be carried out, you will need to separate each of activity into its own phase. After that, you will need to allocate the time required to complete each of the activity that you already separated previously. Okay, so that is a project scheduling. Okay, so in the project scheduling, you can come out with some chart. Okay, so this chart will help you to do the work breakdown and then to do the activity dependency, because using the chart, you will know which activity will depends on which activity. And then through the chart also, you can allocate the stuff for each of the activity. So the example of this chart is Gantt chart and PERT chart. So we will see that later. These two chart is important chart that usually will be used by project manager, especially in our field. So there are two Gantt chart. Okay, so first Gantt chart. So we will learn later in our practical about what is the Gantt chart, and then but PERT chart actually because this is only introduction level, but I have found a short video that is really useful, and then you can understand how we can create the PERT chart. Okay, so I will share the links with you all. Only by looking at this video, I already understand. I think some of the when we want to explain this PERT chart, usually it will take a longer time lah. But using this video, it only require about 6 minutes or 7 minutes, and then you can already understand how to construct the PERT chart. Okay, so we watch that together. I already pasted the link in our chat.
To this video on finding the critical path on a project network. I'll be working with this activity schedule for a project. I'll be constructing a project network, doing forward and backward passes, determining the project completion time, calculating slack values, and finally stating the critical path. I will be using this node convention here, as you will find in Quantitative Methods for Business by Anderson, Sweeney, and Williams. A here is the activity being described, and T represents the expected activity duration or time. ES is the earliest time the activity can start. EF is the earliest finish time. LS is the latest start time. And LF is the latest finish time without extending the minimum completion time of the project. I usually like to start with a sketch to make it easier when drawing the full network. Activities A and B have no predecessors, so they can begin as start. Activity C needs A to be completed before it can start. D needs both A and B completed. E needs D. F needs C and E, and G depends on E. Since F and G have no successors, they go to finish. So here is the network with the activity nodes displaying the letters and times. So let's do the forward pass. A has no predecessor, so its earliest start time will be 0 or right away. Since it has 7 weeks to be completed, its earliest finish time will be 0 plus 7, which gives 7. B also has an earliest start time of 0, and with an activity time of 9, it will have an earliest finish time of 9. Now, C needs A to be completed before it can start. Since the earliest finish time for A is 7, then the earliest time C can start is 7. And with an activity time of 12 weeks, C will have an earliest finish time of 12 plus 7, which gives 19. D, on the other hand, needs A and B to finish before it can start. Since the earliest finish time for A and B are 7 and 9 respectively, and D needs both of them to finish in order to start, then the earliest time D can start is 9. In other words, the highest of the earliest finish times preceding an activity will be the activity's earliest start time. So D finishes at 8 plus 9, which gives 17. E here has only one predecessor D, and so can start at 17 and finish earliest at 26. F has predecessors C and E. Since the higher earliest finish time is 26, F can start earliest at 26 and finish at 32. G also can start earliest at 26, since it has only one predecessor E, and G can finish earliest at 26 plus 5, which gives 31. Note here that although G is the last letter, it doesn't have the highest earliest finish time because F has 32. So we say that the project's completion time is 32 weeks. In essence, the project's completion time is the highest of the earliest finish times at the finish node. Now let's do the backward pass. Since the project completion time is 32 weeks, the latest finish times for the activities at the finish node, F and G, has to be 32. That is, F and G cannot be completed in longer than 32 weeks. Next, we obtain the latest start times by subtracting the activity times from the latest finish times. For G, the latest start time will be 32 minus 5 to give 27. For F, the latest start time will be 32 minus 6, and that gives 26. Now, E has two successors, F and G. The latest start times are 26 and 27 respectively. As a result, the latest time E has to finish has to be 26 in order for F to start. In essence, when doing backward pass, the latest finish time of an activity must be the minimum of the latest start times of its successors. Thus, the latest start time for E will be 26 minus 9, which gives 17. Now, D has only one successor, E. So the latest finish time for D will be the latest start time for E, which is 17. And the latest start time will be 17 minus 8, which gives 9 for D. Activity C has one successor, F. Therefore, the latest finish will be 26 for C, and latest start will be 14. A has two successors, C and D. The minimum of their latest starts is 9. So the latest finish for A will be 9, and its latest start will be 2. Activity B has one successor, D, with latest start of 9. So the latest finish for B will be 9, and its latest start will be 0. The backward pass is now complete. Now, slack for an activity is defined as how long the activity can be delayed without extending or increasing the project's completion time. And it is calculated as LS minus ES or LF minus EF. So the slack for A will be 2 minus 0 or 9 minus 7, which will be 2. The slack for B will then be 0. For C, it will be 7. For D, 0. For E, 0. For F, 0. And for G, 1. Note, for example, that activity C can begin anytime between week 7 and 14, and it can finish anytime between 19 and 26. Thus, C can be delayed for up to 7 weeks, and the project will still be completed in week 32. Activities B, D, E, and F, on the other hand, cannot be delayed at all without extending the project's completion time. So, for example, if D is delayed by 2 weeks, then the project completion time will be extended by 2 weeks as well, from 32 to 34. The activities with 0 slack are called critical activities, and they form the critical path, which is the longest path in the network. So the critical path here is B, D, E, F. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Easy, right? But chat is easy to understand, right? I mean, this video is really good. Even though actually in this chapter we actually not not supposed to dig in details about bird chat, because in this chapter we focus more on Gantt chart, because the Gantt chart is the first primary chart that usually will be used, but bird chart also important. And I believe later you all will learn about bird chart during your next semester, because you will have one course just for software project management. Okay, so you will learn detail about bird chart. But I think by just using that video, you already can understand about what is bird chart. And it is very easy, right? So even now, I think if I ask you all to create bird chart, you already know already, right? Correct, ka?
Okay.
Or only Noel, ka? Watch that video. Okay, Jonathan also. Okay, so that bird chart is important, because if you can see at the end of the video, we can come out with critical path. Okay, so based on your opinion, why do you think the critical path is important to be identified? You can make a guess lah. Yes, to avoid time extension, and so that some of you, if you cannot get the apa itu, if you don't really understand for the first watch, you can rewatch the video. Yeah, but another first important thing is to avoid the time extension, like Noel said. And then the second, as the project manager, you should know which phase of your activity, or which activity that has a critical time, so you can put more attention to that individual activity, because you know that activity will cannot tolerate extension, right? Okay, so you also can tell your team. Okay, so we really need to focus on this activity, and then if we cannot macam mana, tidak boleh tidak, we need to finish. Either we have to work on the weekend or we do OT. This activity must be finished like expected in the schedule. Okay, so that is the main important thing about the PERT chart lah. Okay, so I hope you all can understand the PERT chart lah. Okay, so Gantt chart we will learn that the Gantt chart is easy lah, easy also. But we will learn project Microsoft project in your practical letter. Okay, so Gantt chart I will not touch now because in the end of this lecture we will have some about that, and then in our practical we also will touch about the Gantt chart lah. Okay, so after that, so this is the example of Gantt chart. Okay, so let we will use a Microsoft project. So you will see here, we will have the list of your tasks, and then the starting time, the end time, who is the staff that responsible to that activity. Okay, so from this chart you can see that what activity that can run concurrently, what activity that must wait for the predecessor activity finish first, after that baru it can start. Okay, so we all can see all of that information in Gantt chart easily. Okay, so in project Microsoft project also we have a PERT chart, but in like I said, in this chapter we will focus on Gantt chart. So don't worry, you will learn later about PERT chart in your next sem. Okay, but you already know lah, right? Because based on the video I showed just now. Okay, so after that, this is the example, another example of Gantt chart lah. Okay, so here you can see the planning stage, and then you will have a sub activity under the planning stage, and then you can have the depth for every sub activity under that stage. Okay, so this is the PERT chart lah. Okay, so this is the PERT chart. Okay, so you can see that these are the critical path. The critical path is the activity with the green arrow. Okay, so we know that this activity, because it is in the critical path, okay, so this activity are the critical activity that cannot tolerate any time extension. So for example, so this is the example of activity that can tolerate time extension, like just obtaining the hardware, install the hardware, write a user manual. When you are writing user manual, it doesn't need to finish within that development time. I mean, within some specific period, as long as it is still in the development time, then it is okay. Because you will give the user manual to the user at the end of the development. So it's okay to delay this activity. But for the assigning task, it must be done earlier. Programming, program test, system test, and user test is a compulsory, meaning it cannot tolerate any time extension. Okay, so after that, project costing. Another task that must be done by the project manager is to do the project costing. But actually, the calculation wise, it is not done by the project manager. So who you think will do the calculation? In an organization, in company organization, who will do the costing? Yes, finance, the accounting department. Yeah, so that is the the main task of the department lah. Okay, so but the project manager will supply the finance department with this information so that the finance department can come out with the costing. So what? Okay, so these are the information that project manager should give the finance department, which is the cost for the hardware. No, not the cost of for the hardware, but the hardware that is needed for that project. And if they have the comparison chart, maybe they already have a list of hardware, and then they will have the maybe the project manager already done the comparison. So maybe he just gave that information to the finance department. And then the list of the software, maybe in order to develop your software, you will need another software. Okay, for example, the Microsoft project lah. Because Microsoft project, you cannot use the free version like what we will use later, because we are a lecturer and a student, so it is free for us. But for a business company, they will need to pay for it. So even for the project, Microsoft project also, Microsoft project cost also will need to include it in the costing if you use Microsoft project lah. Okay, so after that, the people. How many programmer, how many human resource that you will need in order to develop your software. And then maybe if you need to hire a new one, then you need to give all of that information to your finance department so that your finance department can do the calculation. Okay, so after that, so these are the common costs or the costs that really need to be given to your finance lab, because these are the resources that surely will need a cost whenever you start a project. Okay, so in order to do the costing, even though actually it is done by your project, your finance department, but to have some idea about how they come out with the costing or the costing lah. Okay, so in order, there are some cost benefit analysis technique that usually will be used by your finance department. Okay, so the student in the accounting department, they all already all of them will learn about this. Okay, payback period, return on investment, and NPV, which is net present value. Okay, so these techniques usually used by the accountant to calculate the cost benefit. Okay, so this is the technique that is used to analyze what is the cost and then what is the benefit that you get from the project. Okay, so the first thing, when the project manager get a project or working on the proposal, maybe let's say we have one company that open for bidding. And then the first thing that the project manager will do is doing the project proposal lah. So in that project proposal, before we agree to accept or not the project, or the project manager will give all of the information that he get, and then we'll give it to the accountant for the accountant to check either the project is beneficial to our company or not. Okay, so how the accountant will know is by using some of this technique lah. Okay, so these are only only 3 techniques that actually can be applied. But when you learn accounting, there will be a various way of calculating, but this is the basic one lah. Okay, so after the accountant come out with the cost benefit analysis, they will know that either the project is beneficial, either the project can give your software company very good return or not. Okay, so if they find out that the project is not worth for us to do, then he will say to the project manager, okay, don't accept or don't go for the bidding. Okay, so the accountant will say that, okay, so this project is not worth because it require a lot of new technology, and then and then the benefit for that project is only a little bit. Okay, so that will be decided by the it is not decided by the accountant, but accountant will only provide us how many benefits, how many costs, but after that accountant will give that info to the project manager, and then project manager will decide lah either want to proceed or not with that project. So a payback period, I have found some of the video about this, but I think I will show all this video to you all if we have time at the end of this lecture. Okay, so because in this lecture actually, or in this syllabus, you will not be asked about the payback, how to calculate payback period, or how to calculate the ROI, how to calculate MPV. No, because it will be usually it will be a content lah. But later I will show you all of this because it is for your FYI how they get the figure. Okay, but later because it is not the priority in this chapter. Okay, so after that, project monitoring. So what are the activity that the project manager should do during the project monitoring? Okay, so um, in order to do the monitoring, the project manager already know these three constraints. Okay, so when he is doing the monitoring, he must monitor each of the project. Either it is still in the time, still within the cost, or within the quality that is required by software development standard. Okay, so okay, so he will monitor either the actual project progress or um, in in line with the plan project progress. Okay, so he will look at your Gantt chart, and then he will see lah either your current progress or current the software development progress is in line with the planned project progress. If he saw that some of the activity delayed, then he will do the necessary lah, maybe to urge the team member. Okay, so you must finish this within this week. If no, then it will cause the delay. Okay. Okay. So after that, okay. So why a project manager need to monitor this actual project versus the planned project progress is because to avoid the problem behind the schedule. Okay, so we don't want any of the activity will make the deliverable of that end product extended, and over budget. We don't want rugi lah. Okay, so because over budget. Okay, so unable also to avoid the problem of unable to achieve the agreed quality attribute. Okay, so we don't want that our project is lack of security or something like that lah. Okay, so you already learn about the software attribute project, right? Okay, so the project manager will ensure that all of the software quality attribute that we have learned previously is achieved. Okay, so after that, So during the project monitoring, there will be a corrective action. Okay, so for example, if there are some, uh, so these are the example. So for example, during the monitoring, you can see that the work for every of your team member is overload. Every of the team member is seem exhausted already because they are doing OT for 2 weeks in row. Okay, so when you see the situation like that, maybe you should consider to add more staff. Okay, so that is the example of corrective actions lah. Or maybe you reassign tasks. Maybe if you see that, okay, some of your team member, your team development team actually not really suitable to do the programming because he is not really skilled in that area, so maybe you can reassign someone better in that area to that task, and then the one that you who are not really skillful, you can assign her another task, for example, to do the testing or to do the documentations. Okay, so if maybe you can consider to add more OT over time. Okay, and also maybe you do some motivational talk to your staff. Okay, staff, maybe usually what my project manager did last time is, maybe in the middle, if we are very busy, kan sometimes he will brought us to a restaurant, and then in that restaurant he will belanja us lah, he will treat us, and then in that during that time we will not talk about work. Okay, so we will not talk about work, we talk like a colleague lah. Okay, but still, if you are eating in front of your boss, it's still awkward lah. But still, you feels like he appreciated your work. So it means that it can encourage your staff a little bit. Okay, so last time, of course lah, every one of us, right? Because our project manager is actually our general manager also, and every time he will ask us go out to eat, usually we will avoid to sit near him. I don't know if it is funny for you or not, but for me, yes lah. I remember that awkward moment lah. But because you, because of course, even though we are not talking about work, but he's still our boss, and we still feel the boundary. Okay, so that's why lah. Usually, only the senior programmer that will sit nearer to the GM, and then the usually will talk a lot lah. Okay, so or during the project monitoring, there will be a formal and informal reviews lah. So it is based on the project manager discretion. Either you think you want a formal review or informal review. Informal review is like you are working among your team, and then you are asking their progress. Okay, so Jonathan, what is the progress of your task now? Maybe you will ask like that lah. Or for the formal review, maybe you will do every week at on the Friday. You maybe 4 p.m. before everyone go back to home. Maybe you will ask the progress formally. Okay, so you will set up meeting, and then you will ask one by one their progress. Okay, so that is the example of formal review. Okay, um, so far so good. I think I talked a lot. Oh, today.
Good.
Okay, so far so good. Why only Noel and Jonathan are responsive? Okay, Alvin also. Please give me hand raise. Okay. Okay. How about Jeremiah? Wong, Celine. Okay. Okay. So we take five first, because it is already 1 hour lecture. So I think maybe some of you we will need to go to uh, restroom ka, okay, or get your snack ka, okay. So we meet again at 10:33 or 35 lah, 10:35. Okay. Okay, so welcome back again. I hope every one of you refresh a little bit lah. Okay, so we proceed with the personal selection and management. Okay, so another task of software project manager or IT project manager is personal selection and management, meaning you are the one who responsible to select your human resource. Okay, I mean, if you need to hire new human resource or new software engineer or programmer lah, okay, so you are also the one who will need to interview them, and then you also the one who assign the task to them. So that's why I said you need to know a very not a very good. I think at least you are someone that can not judge lah. Okay, so but at least you are someone that can know a personality, or you must have some knowledge in identifying personal or personality lah. Okay, so either the person is self-oriented ka, task-oriented ka, communication-oriented ka. So why you need to know all about that is because so that you know what task is the best for that person, for your team. Because if you choose the wrong person to the wrong task, and it can resulting in the delay of your project lah. Okay, delay or problem. Okay, so imagine if you are assigning someone to collect requirement, but that someone is someone that really shy to to work or to ask or to present in front of the client. Okay, so because of the one that you choose is the shy person, and then he is shy to ask the requirement from the client, so he will make assumption about client requirement. Okay, so the requirement is not coming from the client but from your shy staff. Okay, so imagine you have a staff like that. So or if you have what you don't have any knowledge in identifying personal attitude or personal attitude lah. Okay, so when you do personal selection, you must know the application domain that staff is expert in. Okay, so for example, if you want to develop a mobile application development, so you must hire someone that has experience in doing mobile application development lah. Or so if your project is using some specific programming language, because or because a programmer is actually not necessarily he knows all of the programming language. Some of programmer they are only expert at some programming language. Okay, so for example, if you want to develop your future your software, mobile application development, but you are required to use Kotlin language, so you must find someone with that skills lah. Okay, so that is the application domain. Application domain is like, for example, mobile application development lah. Someone that is expert in mobile development, mobile application development. So, and then, like I said just now, the programming language lah. Programming language expertise. If you are required someone that know Kotlin language to develop that mobile application development, then you must find someone with that skills. Okay, so attitude. You also during the interview, right? We cannot see the attitude of the person through the resume. So That's why you need to interview them. So, but memang lah, right? So, some people only good during the interview, but in the real world, um, usually, not usually lah. Sometimes it will be different, but we don't have any choice because we only can see them during the interview. Takkanlah, but that is the use of the probation period. Okay, so during that probation period, usually within 3 months. Okay, so within the 3 months, you will see the attitude of the staff lah. If he has a positive attitude or if you give him a little bit stress or you give him extra work than usual, and then he already complaining, meaning he is someone that is really calculative. Uh, Okay, so you see lah what attitude you want in your team. Okay, so that's why you as the project manager should know the personal trait in each of the individual in your team. Okay, so you will know what you want. Yes, I cannot tell you which attitude is good with which is not. Okay, but if someone is really rude, of course you don't want that person in your team lah, right? Okay, so that's why you have you need to check the attitude of the staff before assigning them to any task. Okay, so and then communication ability. So among all of your staff, if you need to do requirement gathering or requirement collection, that someone should be someone that the staff that you choose should be someone that is good in communication. Okay, so don't assign someone who is very shy to do the requirement gathering lah. Okay, so because like I said just now lah, if that person is very shy, he cannot even look at the eyes of your client. Then how? Okay, so of course the real requirement from the user, you can that person cannot get it correctly lah. Okay, so because of he is shy, then it makes the important requirement is left out. Okay, so these are the example of factor of staff selection. Okay, so there are like actually various factor, not only this, but you will learn that this is the most common lah. But another factor you will learn later when you become a real project manager. There are a lot of factor lagi, but these are the common lah. Okay, so based on this factor, you will see and evaluate, and then you can choose the right candidate for the task. And adaptability. For example, adaptability here is how fast the staff can adapt to new environment or to the new knowledge. For example, if you have existing staff that actually only expert in some language. For example, if previously your staff, all of your staff, only uh, uh, only expert in Java language, but now you get new project that needs you to develop a mobile application development, and it needs Kotlin. Kotlin is a new language to develop mobile applications. So if you will see lah which of your staff is actually is a fast learner. Okay, so if you don't want to hire another staff, new staff that is expert in Kotlin, you just want to use your existing resources. Okay, so you may need to find who is the fast learner among the team to learn, and then you maybe need to send him to some training. Okay, so that is adaptability lah. The what the degree of how fast your existing staff adapt to the new knowledge or new environment or new domain. Okay, so you also need to do motivation to your staff. Okay, so how you can ensure that your staff is motivated to do the job is of course maybe uh, the money or the salary, the paycheck that you give them lah. Okay, so after that, job satisfaction, and then the thoughtful of the job design. And then your leadership also will determine the motivation of your team member. If you are someone yang marah tidak kena tempat, orang bilang, and then everything pun mau marah, it also will can make their motivation down. Because why? They will think that even though they do better, they are doing good, you still want to marah them. Then how? What's the point of doing good lah, right? Better buat tidak bagus pun still kena marah juga, buat bagus pun marah juga. Then what's the point of doing the best? Okay, right. Okay, so money is like best lah. If you pay them less money and then you give them a lot of tasks, OT every time, every week also OT without you pay the OT lah, the money, and then you only belanja them KFC without paying the OT. Lama-lama your staff also will find another place to work. Okay, so if your staff is a very good staff, okay, you are the one at the rugi punya place lah. I hope you all can understand what I want to deliver lah. Okay, so you are the one that rugi because you let go a good staff, a skillful staff, just because you are stingy. Okay, job satisfaction. Job satisfaction ni, the staff can get job satisfaction if they get the correct appreciation. Yeah, so that's why lah the pay, Kelvin, the pay for project manager is higher than the software team. Yeah, correct, Elvin. The one that who will need to be the one that can be a project manager is someone that need a knowledge a little bit in psychology. Okay, someone that can persuade the team, someone who can motivate the team. Okay, it is actually stressful also lah if you don't know the correct technique to manage your stress. And then even the worst is whenever goes wrong, when your project goes wrong, the one that will be blamed by your top management is you first. Even though that actually the job or the mistake was done by your team member, but you as the leader will get the blame because you are the one who are responsible to make sure everything going smoothly. Okay, so you cannot say that si Kelvin lah tidak buat kerja, that's why lah kami punya project ni delay. Cannot. Because if si Kelvin tidak buat kerja, then you as the project manager, you should replace Kelvin with Elvin lah. Okay, so your project manager, your top management maybe will say like that lah. Okay. Okay, this is example lah. Don't stress lah. Okay. So we proceed. Okay, so the project selection management, the personnel selection and management on Maslow's motivation model. So we can follow this model to select or to do the selection. Okay, so First is psychological. We need to first of all, as you can see, this is a pyramid. So here it's like a diet pyramid, meaning at the bottom is something that you need to uh, focus more. Okay, so meaning in psychological part is the first thing that you need to focus more. Okay, for example, so good employment and or working condition. So before you hire someone, you need to you need to prepare a good employment meaning with the relevant payment lah. Okay, and then working condition. I mean, you can give the some good benefit to your staff lah. Okay, so give them a good working condition and good employment. After that, safety. Okay, so safety, you need to find out a staff, but how we don't know lah, because that is personal discretion of the project manager. But of course, if you want to find a staff, you want a long-term employment. You don't want someone that kerja 3 bulan, pindah lagi, kerja 3 bulan, pindah lagi. Okay, so to ensure that is by providing them a good working environment lah, like the previous item just now. Okay, so after that, social. Okay, so the third motivation model or the third item that can motivate staff is social. Okay, so in your work environment, you must communicate well with your staff. So well-known employer, meaning you are not someone that, your staff not only know your name, but they only know how you work, the culture of your work, how you work with the others. Okay, so after that, compatible, you as the project manager must create the compatible work group lah. Okay, self-esteem. Okay, so here as your staff kan, they also, for them to be motivated, they also require recognition. Meaning, even though actually you cannot lah all the time compliment their work. Even though their work is so-so pun you compliment juga. But make sure as a project manager, you can recognize their hard work. Okay, so even though they didn't achieve a very good achievement, but you can recognize their hard work. You know that they are working 2 weeks in the row, OT every day, even the weekend also working. At least you give them recognition. For example, like I said just now lah, my project manager last time, instead of belanja us KFC, he also bring us out. Okay, brought us out to eat at a good restaurant lah. Okay, after that, sometimes he will not marah tidak bertempat lah. Okay, so he will sometimes will say that, okay, I see, meaning you can detect even the small thing done by your staff, but you can detect, and then you say it to him, and then it makes that your staff feels that they are recognized by you. Okay, so for example, last time kan, um, the our project manager give me some tasks. The task is just to compare some of the software because we need to buy some third-party software lah. Okay, so we compare. I compare. He asked me to compare, meaning compare with the price, with the feature, which is the best we need to buy. Okay, so I come out with the Excel with all of the feature and then the advantage and disadvantage of each of the software, and then lastly I will suggest lah. So for me, I said that even though software B is a little bit expensive than the software A, but the feature it's offer is better, is much more better than B. So even though it is a little bit expensive, we will not it will be the price range is not the matter, because the benefit or the feature is really will help us, will make us faster our work. Okay, so after that, after he saw my comparison or the work that I do, even though actually he didn't ask me how to do it, he just asked me, okay, you make comparison and suggest us. Okay, that is the order, only one line. But I come out with all of that info kan, and then he said, I like how you work, he said. Okay, so even though it is not a really big achievement, but I feels like happy lah a little bit because someone recognized my work, someone recognized my hard work. Okay, so it makes your staff want to do more after that. Okay, so want to offer more. Okay, so that is another item to motivate your staff lah based on this Maslow. Self-actualization, a challenging job. So some of the staff, they will feel tambah bersemangat if they are given challenging job. But some of the staff, they like the things that or the job that similar, that is consistent. Today he will do the same, tomorrow he will do the same, next year he will do the same. He likes the what, the very consistent job, not a challenging job lah. So you also will need to, as a project manager, you also need to identify this kind of what, personal of your staff. Okay, so if the person is really likes the consistent job, maybe you can just give him the task that he is really good at lah. Okay, so if you think that some of your staff is very good at the challenging job, then you can give the job to him. But usually, it is depends on the staff lah. Usually, the staff that will like a challenging job will get pay higher lah. Okay. So someone who only works with the consistent pairs, similar job, actually, their focus on working is not because of the pay lah. He just want a stable job. So if he is really good at that job, then let him be lah in that job. Okay, so maybe even though he is not paid higher or high lah, okay, but if he is okay with that, then let him do the task lah. Okay, so after that, okay, so we proceed to the factor that influence the group working. So these are the three items that I said that a project manager should really recognize so that you have a good team. Okay, so first, group composition. Okay, so group composition is the feature of your team. Feature of your team. Okay, so as a task manager, you need to make sure there are the right balance of the skill. Okay, so in your team, there must be someone that is experienced. There must be someone that is less experienced, like senior and junior. And then the personality in the team lah, right? Balance of the personality in the teams. So even though maybe in your team they are very shy person, but he is very good in programming, so you assign him to the task lah, programming, because programming doesn't need to meet people a lot lah. But if but you also need to make sure that in your team there's someone that is very good in communication. So if there are any tasks that is needed for him or for you to meet the client, so you can ask that person. Yes, so you also need to identify which of your staff that is task oriented, which stuff that is interaction oriented, and then which stuff is self oriented. Okay, so by identifying this kind of stuff, then you can know what task you can give to your staff. Okay, so after that, group cohesiveness. Cohesiveness meaning to say that the strength of your group. Either your group, each of the staff in your group thinks that you are in one team, or they're like just working individually. They don't think that you are a team. So this is not very good lah. If your group don't have that cohesiveness, meaning if your group have a good cohesiveness, meaning to say that everyone in your group, they will work without they will work proactively, because they know that they will not wait for the other staff to ask them to do that, because they want to achieve the same goal as the company goal. Okay, so their goal, they make that the company goal as their own goal, so their work will be a very proactive. Okay, so even though, for example, there are some tasks that are still not finished by the other staff because there are some constraint, so they will volunteer do that task because maybe their task is already finished. But if your group have a loose cohesiveness, meaning to say that everyone just work individually. Okay, so as long as my task is already finished, then I can play game lah. Okay, I play game first. Okay, so you see that your another team or your another colleague is very struggle. He is even working day and night, and then even sleep at the office lagi to finish their punya module. But you already finish early, and then you play game because you don't care about the others. You only care about your own team, your own work. So that is not a good practice, or it means that your group don't have a good cohesiveness or strong cohesiveness. Okay, so that is it means by does the group think of itself as a team rather than a collection of individuals who are working together. Okay, so how to promote group cohesiveness? Okay, so how to promote a group cohesiveness? How to make that your team has a good uh, group cohesiveness is like for this one lah. You can do this thing, this activity to promote the group cohesiveness. Okay, so first maybe you can establish group identity. Group identity maybe um, you find you find you find your group identity, meaning last time our general manager, he are doing a motivation talk to us lah, and he said, I want a lean team. Okay, a lean team. Lean team meaning Lean. Lean team meaning he want a small group of programmer or software developer or a software development team. Even though we are small, but he want all of us multitasking. Okay, so that is our group identity. So that if in the future there are some issues or things happen like the pandemic, we don't need or he don't need to remove the team or cut down the staff. Okay, so yeah, because of the identity of our group like that, up until now, the team still the same. I mean, this the the company didn't remove any stuff lah because of this pandemic. Even though the pandemic is already 1 year already, right? And then memang most of the company is affected. So most of the company cut down resources, but my previous company still didn't fired any staff because of the group identity. He wants a lean group, which is even though small but multitasking. Meaning, he really require us to very um, to gain more knowledge, even though I mean to expert in various area lah, so that he doesn't need to hire new 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 staff, even though we need a new technology or new knowledge. Yes, after that, team building activities, or maybe um, every end year, every year end, sorry, every year end, you will go to camping with the team. Okay, so during that time, you do a lot of activities so that the bond among the staff is stronger. Not only because of the colleague, so they also become the friends. Okay, so members are treated as responsible and trustworthy. Okay, so whenever you give them a task, trust them. Okay, so um, yeah, trust them with the task lah. Give a faith in them. Jangan sikit-sikit check, sikit-sikit check. It's showing that you are not trusting their their skill lah, their expertise, or their you don't believe your stuff lah, if like that. Okay, so after that, group communication. So do the member of the group communicate effectively with each other? Okay, so if yes, then you have a good group communications lah. Okay, so if not, all of them is just working apa tu, with their laptop, even though sebelah menyebelah pun tidak bertegur, even the good morning every day pun tiada yang cakap. Okay, so that is not a very good practice for a team lah. Okay. Okay, so based on your opinion, how do you think we can improve the group communication? Can please give me one? Or can any of you give a way of how we can improve group communication? Orientation? You mean like when there are new stuff and then you will do orientation? Ah, yes, I agree. Group orientation is one of the way to improve group communication, but it is only at the early time lah, right? Having group activity, yes. Ice breaking activity, yes. Ice breaking activity, having group activity. Orientation also lah, but orientation only macam seasonal, macam during only the few months lah, few months lah pula, a few weeks lah usually the orientation. Okay, so after that it must be continuous lah, something that continues. Ice breaking, yes, it is usually ice breaking, usually the activity in the orientation. Having group activity, yes. I think the consistent group activity is yes, not only seasonal. Okay, so last time, if I'm not if not, I mean last time, what we did to promote group communication is, it is our own alternative lah during our team member. Every birthday, if any of the team has a birthday, so each of the team will go Dutch. I mean, not go Dutch lah, not go Dutch. They will collect money to treat the person, the birthday boy lah, or the birthday girl. Okay, so that is also a good group activity lah. We make it like a consistent punya activity. So everyone, or anytime the person birthday, so we will go to some restaurant without our general manager lah, because it will be very awkward with your general manager around. Okay, so it is only our team. Okay, so we will go to the restaurant, and then everybody will order, and then the person yang birthday will not pay. It will be kena belanja by all of the team lah. Okay, so Feather said get to know them first. So by using or by having a group activity, you can get know of your team. So that's why you need to have a consistent group activity. Allow free speech and two-way comment. Can you please explain more, Jonathan? Allow communication. Can provide comment without limits. Without limits? You mean everybody can comment the other person without limit lah? Let's speak out their mind or something. Actually, they are yes or no lah about that. I cannot totally agree without the limit tu lah, the word without limit gitu. Because if you are talking without limit, you just kasih keluar everything. Just remember that everybody in your team has the emotion. Sometimes some person are sensitive, some are not. Sometimes there are person that even though you maki or you do whatever, or you say whatever to him, he will go like nothing. Masuk telinga kiri, keluar telinga kanan. But there are a person, even though you didn't mean that words, but he can interpret it differently. Tiba-tiba sensitif sangat. Tiba-tiba dia punya behavior is strange towards you. Tiba-tiba don't want to talk to you already, because he feels like you are saying something to him, but actually you are not. You don't mean what you mean. Okay, so I think can provide comment without limits, not really encouraged lah. With limit is yes. So because I can say you lah, if you work in a team and then you make someone not really feel good about you, Next time, if you need help from him or he will refuse. There will be a breach or there will be a boundary between you two. Sometimes even though he know that or he is willing to he has the capability to help you, but because of you have done something to her, you have said something that hurt her feeling, that it sometimes can he will awal-awal kasi begini. He is he put the boundary between you lah. Okay, so yes, allow communication, yes. Okay, so as a project manager, maybe if you can say that to your team under you, that if you have something that you are not satisfied, you can meet me personally and we can talk about that. Okay, so like I said just now, like you cannot. I mean, if you have something, you need to personally meet them, or and then you need to comment also, but with limit lah, with a professional way. Okay, so meaning to say that professional way, you comment them based on their work, not based on their punya physical or not because of uh, some other things, but you comment them just based on their work, nothing else, because you are in the workplace. Okay, Jonathan? Okay, so we proceed. Okay, so group organization. So this also, group organization also will influence the group working, how your group will work. Okay, so is the team organized in such a way that everyone feels values and is satisfied with their role in the group? Okay, so if, for example, in your team, there's already a very senior staff and there are new staff or junior staff that just coming in, and then suddenly you make the junior become the leader or to lead the senior. So how would the senior will think about? Okay, so you must make something like that. I am not saying that you must not hire or promote the junior. If she is really good, then okay, but don't make it so obvious lah. Okay, so you if you are become project manager later, you know lah what you will need to do. Okay, so don't make it so obvious that you are really favor the junior because the junior really have a fresh knowledge, fresh skills from the current technology. Okay, because new graduate students, they are usually learn the new skills, but for the old senior, they are usually only stick to the old knowledge. But yeah, like I said just now, even though the gap of the knowledge is very huge, um, don't make I mean, you should have a very good judgment lah. Okay. Or if you memang terpaksa to promote that junior to be the higher than the senior, make it in a good way. I don't know what is the good way actually. Until you become a project manager later, you will know lah. Based on your experience, you will know lah. Because I never become a project manager. So I only know the theory about that. I don't have the example for you. Okay. So, did you assign the right job to the right people? Okay, so like I said just now lah. And maybe what I can think of, maybe you can say to your team when you appoint the junior to be the leader, maybe you can say like this. Okay, team, I want to tell you all that for this project I will let Noel to be head the head of this module, because because what, because he has he previously have learned this technology uh, during his bachelor. So among all of us, he is the expert in this area. So that's why I appoint him. Okay, so maybe you can say like that lah. Okay, so please give a relevant reason so that everybody in that team not feels like they are discriminated. Okay, so the last the last um the last task for a project manager is report writing and presentation. So when you already schedule, you already plan, you already monitor, and then it is the time for you to report to your top management or to your client the progress of the job. Okay, so the project manager will write the report to tell the top management or the client. And then you will be the one who will do the presentation. So usually the project manager is someone that is must be someone that is good in communication and presentations. Because why? You are the image of your company. When you present in front of your client will judge your company based on you. Okay, so that's why I can say that last time our general manager is memang very good person in presentation. So sometimes when he present, um, I also like uh, 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 what I will stick in my place and then listen to him to present. Okay, but he is someone that if he is angry, then all of us kena also lah. But I have the respect for him because he really have the skill. Okay, so what the project manager will do is reporting on the project, the progress, what you are in what phase now, and then you will produce a document on the progress maybe, and then you will do the presentation. Okay, so can good project management guarantee project success? So what do you all think? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Noel, yes. Shark, yes. Huh? No. Why? Why, Kelvin? Can good project management guarantee the project success? Still can have error. Still can have error. Mm, yeah. Actually, um, I mean, I agree lah for this lah, Erwin. For me, I can agree lah. A good project management will guarantee the project success. It is my opinion. But your opinion is because you said that even though the good project management cannot guarantee the project success because the project may still have error. Okay, so but if you have a good project management and your project have the error or your system still have bugs even though you have a good project management, but if you have a good project management you can because you are in the project management you will need to schedule, you will need to plan, and if you have a good project management you already can allocate some times in the time that is given to you to finish the development. But if you have a good management, if you are a good project manager, you already allocate some times to fix the error. Okay, so that if when it is the time to deliver the project to the client, your error can gone already lah. Okay, so I agree that a good project management can guarantee project success because if you, even though your system have error, but every phase of the software development you have a maintenance phase, right? So maintenance phase can be used to fix that error. Okay, so a good project manager yeah, maybe something cannot control like sickness and accident. Okay, so maybe you said that maybe some of your team or your staff may be sick. and then he cannot do the task or cannot proceed with the task. But if you have a good project management, um, okay, so a good project manager already have a risk. I mean risk management also lah. Okay, so a good project manager already can think of a plan B for that kind of situations. For example, if you are a project manager and then you identify the risk earlier, so in case of there are short of staff, you already have a list of candidates you can hire. Okay, so that is based on your uh, risk management lah. Okay, so a good risk management can be done by a good project management. Okay, so a good project management can solve usually almost all of the error, or because you are already identify or you already predict that thing will happen, so you already come out with a good plan before the project start, right? Okay, so for example, in case of you said like this, your there are team that is sick or accident or die. Okay, so because you as a project manager, you already can predict that things can happen. So maybe in the early of the project when it is starting, you already advertise the vacancy of job, and then you already have a list of candidates that you can hire when there are something happen to any of your team. Okay, Calvin. But later if you also answer like this, I still can accept. Yeah, I still can accept, but make sure you give a very relevant answer can that can that for me to give you to give you marks lah. Okay, so good management can guarantee project success. However, bad management usually result in project failure. Um, but for me, I think yes. But here he said no lah, like Kelvin lah. So like the reason here, I said, if you said no, you need to give me some relevant reason, like this one lah. However, if you didn't do your management well, but make sure don't do your management badly lah, because a bad management confirm will produce or resulting in project failure. A software delivered late, cost more than the original estimated, and fails to meet its requirement. That is the result of bad management. So, a good management cannot guarantee success, but I think yes, for me yes, because of the reason that I said just now lah. Okay, but for Kelvin, it is no. Okay, so it is based on your own opinion. So there's no good or there are no exact answer for this. Okay, so as long as later, if you all found this kind of questions, as long as you give me a relevant answer, like Kelvin just now, I still can give marks. Okay. Okay, so coming together is the beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is the success. Okay, so this is the principle of Henry Ford. He is the founder of Ford Motor Company. Okay, so you all know about the Ford Motor, right? I mean, it is the car company. Nice quote. Yes, nice quote, right? He is a very successful person. So, because of he has this principle. Coming together is beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is a success. Okay, so after that, these are the exercise, but we will do this during our practical time later. Okay, so it is actually about how to develop a Gantt chart based on this activity. Okay, so the time is now 11:30. So do you guys have any questions about this? So far, no questions. Okay. Okay, so if no, then we will meet again for this. I think for the next lecture time, we will do our practical lab. 2 hours practical too. We will do the Gantt chart. Okay, so because we already done our lecture about this. Okay, so Tuesday later during the lecture, we will do our practical. Okay, so guys and girls, if you don't have any questions, then we can dismiss now. Thank you everyone for your attentions and feedback or feedback or response lah. Okay, bye.
Okay, thank you, Miss.
Okay, bye.